Sunflower check 1 2. Hello. Mike, can you hear me? Mike, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, buddy, we're in. We got this. No problem. Hey, welcome to the water cooler. I'm Tyler. Tyler Haig is my last name. I'm joined by Mike O'Brien. How's it going, bud?
Good. How are you?
Oh, living the dream. Just making sure that our settings and stuff are working. I think we're okay. I thought that last week too. I thought that the week before. But I think we're working now.
You tried to censor me.
I tried to censor you. That's right, I did. I wanted people to not listen to you and only listen to me. Just for the first little bit. 9 or 10 minutes.
That's why the ratings were down.
I mean, listen, that sounds like a stretch to me as far as ratings are concerned. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Vikings. We'll start with the Vikings. What was the final? 37-something? It was a lot to a little. The game was a lot closer than that. Would you agree with that statement?
No.
No, you didn't think it was close? You thought the Vikings were in control the whole time?
We whooped them, yeah.
I mean, I agree in that they were in control, but I felt like the score was a lot closer because they were driving. The Jets were driving. They were down 14, something like that.
14.
I can't remember. 14. And they were moving. They were making moves. Granted, they turned the ball over as they did, repeatedly throughout the game. Which basically
4 or 5 times.
Yeah, yep. gave the Vikings the win there. But are you, I don't want to say impressed, but the defense is looking good. Was this the kind of, this to me seems like good teams do this, is they just kind of, I don't want to say impose their will, but they were in control of that game. It got close for a second. They made their move. They extended the lead. Looks like a blowout. Do you think they're on the right track? Do you think the defense is going where they're supposed to be going? What's your overall assessment of this Vikings team right now?
No, I think we looked all right. Offense needs some work. We had about, 10 punts in that game? 4 or 5 3-and-outs.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal for a stretch there. Definitely.
Needs some work. Defense is coming around just fine.
Did you hear that?
No.
We had some buzzing there. We'll move forward.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, the defense looks a lot better. The offense, though, like you said, for stretches there, especially in the first half, was pretty brutal. Do you think that the wind in this game played a factor in that? Do you think that was just two kind of good defenses? Do you think it was what do you attribute to the Vikings' inability to move the football for that stretch? What do you think that was caused by?
I don't think the win helped.
Yeah.
But I just think they were off. Jets D's pretty good.
And that's the thing is we tend to lean towards, what's wrong with the Vikings as opposed to what was right with the team that they were playing. Does that make sense? I feel like we're always pointing at Kirk Cousins what's wrong, and pointing at the offensive line and saying what's wrong. And sometimes, especially, not that the Jets are on the Rams level, but sometimes defenses can do what they want, and they can force offenses into 3-and-outs because that's kind of how the NFL works. But as far as the defense is concerned, they're back to the really good third down percentage again. But they had a lot of injuries in this game, or a fair amount of injuries in this game. Barr left the game at one point. Rhodes left the game at one point. Who else? I feel like there was another one. Oh, it was Compton was the offensive line.
Yeah.
But do you feel like those injuries are going to, an ankle for Rhodes could be an issue going forward, but do you feel like injuries are going to be an issue after last week?
Yeah, we're going to need these guys back soon, real soon. We got the Saints coming.
I know, right? And that's the biggest thing is it feels like the secondary is depleted. We lost one of our best linebackers, and Drew Brees is going to come in and destroy us.
Yeah, it's not going to be good if Barr and Rhodes can't play.
Yeah. I don't know. Obviously, I haven't heard. I know we're expecting an injury report at some point in the near future here. I have not seen one, so I don't know like what those dudes are dealing with or how long they're going to be out, because I've also heard from somebody that if it was a closer game, they both could have come back into the game and played. I have no idea if that's true or not. That is just something I've heard, but I think you nailed it in that if they don't come back, it's going to be an issue. Adam Thielen was pretty impressive. What else is there to say about Adam Thielen? Like, the dude's unbelievable. I'll ask you this question though. He had over 100 yards again. That was the 7th game in a row, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
The record is 8, right?
Right.
Do you think he breaks the record?
I do. Did you hear who the Saints just traded for?
No. Who?
Eli Apple.
Interesting.
Quarterback, Giants. Yeah.
That's the wrong Eli to trade if you're the Giants. I think they did it wrong. Do you think they? Man, all right. We'll talk about the Giants a little bit later in one of our other segments. So I want to save, because I get some Eli Manning questions I want to ask you too. But yeah, so Thielen, you think he's going to break the record? You think who? So it's the Saints defense. I mean, that'd be all right. This one would just be to tie it, right? And then the 9th would be to break it.
Oh yeah, if you're counting Megatron, he had 8.
Yeah. That's the NFL record, and the one that Adam Thielen is going to break after 7 is the 7 games to start the season, which is held by, I can't remember the guy's name, but it was from 1950 something.
We should really know that, though.
I know. The non-Super Bowl era, man. I can't concern myself. I got enough issues to deal with here. I can't even make the speakers work. You want me to do, non-Super Bowl era research? Not happening. They didn't even have the internet then.
It's all inclusive now, sir. Yeah. Got to be inclusive.
So, yeah, Adam Thielen. I think, man, it's so hard. It's so hard to have that many yards, and to break a record like that is ridiculous. But he's doing it it doesn't feel forced when Adam Thielen is catching over 100 yards. The way that, Calvin Johnson, for example, Megatron, they were just forcing the ball, and he was like a beast. He was taller than everybody. He could go, get whatever. But, Thielen feels like it's kind of within the offense, and he just winds up making big plays and totaling over 100 yards every game. So
He's
I guess
always open.
Yeah, I guess from that perspective,
Every
it makes
play.
me feel like, he might break the record. Do you think he's benefiting? Thielen is benefiting from A, playing in the slot more often, and B, because Diggs is really good as well. Do you think? I guess my real question is: do you think NFL defenses now, when they're playing the Vikings, do you think they are game planning for Diggs and then Thielen? I mean, they have to be going Thielen and Diggs at this point.
No, they're still rolling coverages the Diggs.
You think so? Okay, so you think he's maybe all right. So to benefit from having somebody good on your opposite side, it's crazy. Ask Trey Waynes about it. Sometimes it doesn't work out as well as it is supposed to.
Juju Schuster too.
Yeah, that's another great example. Mike the Oracle, rocking it out, no problem, dude. So we talked about the injuries a little bit. It's concerning, especially from a defensive back standpoint. A very good cornerback, Patrick Peterson, has decided that he wants to be traded. A, do you think the Vikings should be interested? B, what would you give up to get him?
You always should be interested in a Pro Bowl player, but we don't need him per se. Does that make sense?
I mean, I could make a pretty compelling argument that we would if you're going to be playing. Well, I guess it all depends on how Rhodes is doing. Because if Rhodes is out, and then all of a sudden your defensive backfield or your cornerbacks are Waynes and Holton Hill and Mackenzie Alexander and Jaron Kearse, that's a little bit concerning.
It is, but that'll only be for a couple weeks.
Yeah, but I mean,
Don't get knee jerk now.
Well, here's the thing, though, is this week in the NFL, there were so many close games. So many games were decided by like a missed field goal or like a dumb play. Like the margin for error in the NFL is so slim that I feel like 2 weeks of being completely depleted at defensive back, especially when one of those weeks is against Drew Brees. We'll like take that out for now, but that can be the difference between, I'm not saying they're going to get the number 1 seed because I don't think they will, but maybe the difference between a bye in the first round. Maybe you don't have to play the wild card. Maybe I don't know. Does that make any sense? Am I making
Kinda,
too much of a, because I feel like every game is so important, but
I'm not mortgaging the future for 2 weeks.
And that's totally it. That is the argument right there is do you freak out and do you pay too much for a corner who can basically, get you through 2 weeks? And then not to say that, having Patrick Peterson on your team for the rest of the season is a definite plus.
Yeah.
But do you freak out and need him? So on to the next part of the question. We talked about this a little bit earlier. What do you give up? So the rumor for Patrick Peterson, or what was being discussed, which I'm sure was on the leader, the sports leader, was that they were going to give up a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and Trey Waynes. Was that the deal? That sounds outrageous when I say it like that. That's a way no thank you from me.
Yeah.
A first, a third, and Trey Waynes.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, I can't
No
do
way.
that.
No
I
way.
can't do that. Yeah. Would you do third and Trey Waynes for Patrick Peterson? That I could maybe get into.
Yeah, do that.
But then here's the other thing: is you do. Let's say the Vikings do that today. Trey Waynes, third round pick, Patrick Peterson. Now for the next 2 weeks, you are, if Rhodes is out, you're looking at Holton Hill, Mackenzie Alexander, Jaron Kearse, Marcus Sherrills, because there's no way Patrick Peterson's going to be playing that week, this week, next week, right? It would take him a couple of weeks.
He can line up, play man to man.
I don't know, dude. Iloka was hanging out for weeks before the Vikings used him because he needed to learn the playoff, and that was a Mike Zimmer system at one point.
Safety's a little different. You got to know coverages, zones, all that. Just tell Peterson to play man to man. Put him on an island.
Peterson Island, no problem. We'll roll everything this way. Pat, you take care of that side of the field. No worries.
See ball, catch ball.
I feel like this proposition and this player, like, is this just a name recognition where it's like, oh, I want him to play for the Vikings because I know who he is. I know his name. I don't know very many players playing in Arizona right now. He's one of them. I'd like to have him on my team. Are we?
Yeah, you know his name because he's really, really good.
Yeah, because he's really good. Do you think he's still? Yeah, he's at that level still, correct? Like he's not dipping. Like he's still an important piece. If they were trying to do something important, he would be important in Arizona.
Yes.
I guess follow-up question, do you even think there's a chance that Arizona gets rid of him at this point? Because he's got to be part of what's helping you build towards the future, right?
Yeah.
As opposed to getting rid of him and trying to find somebody to replace him, because that sounds awful. If you're
everyone's tradable for the right price. So if the Vikings did offer Trey Waynes a first and a third,
you got to say yes if you're Arizona. Yeah, right? Oh, geez Louise, yeah. I was gonna bring this up when we were talking about it earlier. A great example of a team that correctly, I guess is what I'm going to say, correctly uses their first round picks is New England. How many years in a row have they traded away their first round pick, not had a first round pick? Like it's like they don't need it because they can plug other guys into the system. Do you think the Vikings are trying to graduate to a level where they don't need these first round picks anymore? Maybe that's the move, man. Maybe this is a
later pick. I can see that.
Yeah, well, I mean, they were in that
25 and up.
And that's what I'm saying. They were the plan. That's the plan, right? NFC Championship, around that neighborhood where you're in the last 4, 5, 6 picks of the first round. That's conceivable. And if they're going
It
to get
is.
like Belichickian on the bit and try and like use these first round picks to bring in assets that can like play now, I mean, that might not be the worst thing ever,
Mhm.
especially when you have salary cap guru who seems to just be able to make all this money like appear out of thin air. You know, like how are they? I mean, they do have salary cap issues, and the money for Peterson would be a huge issue that we haven't really discussed because he would definitely have to take. He would have to restructure. There's no way they could pay him what he's making right now.
No. What is it, like 12, 13?
I think
What is
so.
it?
12. Yeah, I think 12 this year, 13 next year, and 14 or 16 the following. I can't remember, but it's definitely over 10 all of the years, and he's signed till 2021? Question
We
mark.
can we can keep Wayne's cheaper than that.
Yeah, and who's to say that? I mean, not that I'm saying that Wayne's is going to be like, but Wayne's could be a really, really good player for cheaper. You know, that might be a better long term option for the Vikings than having Patrick Peterson for maybe a year or two because you can't, get him to agree to the money you're offering him because you've given it all to, all these other guys.
Yeah. Wayne's is a really good player.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he gets the short end of the stick because Rhodes is really, really good. And I think that Wayne's is on any other team, he's the number one corner and, looked at in a different light. Do you
And
agree?
he's not getting thrown at all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And his stats get better because of it. The NFL does strange things to, as far as skewing stats. Another thing that I want to talk about from the Vikings game is the growing, or maybe growing is the wrong way to put it, but like the continuing issues of tipped passes for Kirk Cousins. The defensive linemen, I don't know what they're seeing, how they're seeing it, or like if it's just like anytime he throws, put your hands up because we can get a hand on it. But like so many tip passes, so many throws into the ground behind him. What is that about? The like bubble screen. I can't get into it. But do you think that Kirk Cousins, like maybe the like Achilles heel for dude is turnovers like that and tip passes and like weird little things? Because you can look at Sam Bradford and it's like, oh, he's kind of slow and he'll throw interceptions. He can't stay healthy. With like Kirk Cousins, everything else looks pretty, but he turns the ball over a lot on fumbles. He has a passes tipped a lot. Like, is this an issue? Is this like the problem? Is this the thing is this like the other shoe dropping?
Yeah, there might be something like that. The last couple teams have game planned 3-step drop, stick your hands up, you're not going to get to them. And it's kind of a little bad luck sometimes too. Because they could just as easily miss the tip pass.
Yeah, that's true. And you do have to, yeah, I don't know. It just seems like it happens so much. It's like one of those like fluky plays that you maybe see once every couple of weeks. And like there were like 6 or 7 in that game, which is just like
6 and then 4 against the Jets, I think.
yeah, it's crazy. And maybe that also was a result of the wind where these quarterbacks are trying to, the coordinators are trying to do quick passes. They're trying to keep the ball down, because the deeper the pass, the higher it has to be, the more the wind can affect it. I don't know. That could have something to do with it too. Because that wind, I mean, judging by the way those dudes were kicking, like I'm shocked that they like made any field goals at all in that game. The way
Well,
that
you
wind was blowing.
played college or high school quarterback, correct?
Yes, I did.
Well, how does his release look? Is he got a low release?
Kirk Cousins, no, he has like a normal release.
Yeah.
But is it, on an NFL level when you got like it's 6'8" dudes in front of you, trying to block, like is that I don't know. Like you have to like Drew Brees is a great example. Like you don't notice it because he's so good, but he does all kinds of different little things like moving in the pocket so he can see what he's doing down the field and like little things like that.
Stands on his tiptoes.
Yeah, totally. Like little things that he has to do in order to, get the ball to the same place as the taller guys can get. And I don't see a ton of Kirk Cousins, a ton of that coming from Kirk Cousins. It looks like he's just throwing the ball like he would be throwing the ball if he was playing catch. And then, oh yeah, there's offensive and defensive linemen in the way. So I don't know. That to me, it looks like I'm sure he's working on it in practice and stuff like that, but it's like if I was a football coach, I would be pissed that kept happening to my offensive line and quarterback. Those are like,
Did you notice any of the first 4 games?
I mean, no, but I noticed other things like screen passes that go bad he's thrown, like Kirk Cousins will throw the ball at dudes' feet, like weird
Yes.
little things like that. And maybe it's happening because the offensive line on longer plays like that are not able to protect as well. And whatever. There are so many different
Oh,
factors that
I'm
can
just
go into
wondering
it.
if maybe the last 2 teams have picked up on some kind of tell that lets them know
Yeah,
he's
like
going
patting the
3
ball
or
or
2.
something.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe it's one of those things too, like the way Adrian Peterson used to be, where maybe he's not holding the ball any looser than any other running backs, but he's got the reputation as the guy that you can get the ball from. So
hmm
everybody's trying to take the ball from him. Maybe that's happening with Kirk Cousins, where you could maybe tip all these passes on a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL, but Kirk Cousins is the one that everybody's figured out, like, hey, we can actually get away with it on this. I don't know. It'll be
yeah.
interesting to see how they combat it next week, if they do more quick passes, because if if the offensive linemen are cutting the defensive linemen, I mean, that's the idea, is offensive linemen go low and you keep the D linemen down, but I don't know. It ain't happening, and it's concerning because it shouldn't happen that often, but I don't know. It just was something that stuck to me. Do you think, real quick, I didn't prep you for this at all, but quick thumbs up, thumbs down on the offensive coordinator at this point?
Ooh, I'll give him a thumbs up.
Yeah, I'm leaning thumbs up, but I'm still kind of on the fence about it. But I don't know. How can you be on the fence about it? They scored 37 points, and have been,
Yep.
putting up a ton of yards and scoring a bunch of touchdowns. And so I don't know, maybe I'm just being too picky, but they're just,
Uh, I don't think he's thrown enough.
seriously?
No, I'm just kidding.
See, there's a problem with not being able to
That might have something to
Skype.
do with the tip passes too.
What's
The
that?
D lineman, go. They're not handing it off. Stick your hands up,
Yeah.
block this pass.
Yeah, good call. Yeah. Well, and that's the other thing too, is it's anytime that there's, like, he hardly ever does the check down option. If it's a check down, he's had the ball for too long and he's getting rid of it to a running back. But there's no like sneak the running back out of the backfield design
Mhm.
pass plays, it feels like. So maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. I don't want him to throw the ball to running backs anymore, because it always seems to be a fumble going backwards. So I'm good on them doing that. So, have you heard the news about Everson Griffin?
I
Breaking
have.
news. Ba-na-na, ba-na-na. So he's coming back. Do you think that I mean, there's no way he's going to play on Sunday, right?
Why not?
I mean,
He's resuming team activities. Why not?
what do they do? What day is today? So he's back. They would have practiced today because they would have had the day off on Monday. So yeah, I guess he could get prepped for practice and be good to go on Sunday night. Yeah, he probably could. I was thinking,
Yeah,
honestly, there's no chance he was playing this week, and probably not next week either.
he's fine.
But yeah, I mean, that's exactly right. It's not like what is he going to be, sore? No, he hasn't been playing. He's not like injured. But wait, didn't he
If
have
he,
like some injury issue before he went on this thing?
that was a cover. They said it was a knee. That was a
Oh
cover.
yeah, you're totally right. It was a cover. Migraines. Oops. So you think he's going to play? Do you think that he will? What role do you think he's going to have? Because you got to leave Danielle Hunter where he's at, right? You can't move him.
No, you switch it back.
Do you? You think so?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, Danielle Hunter looks so good from that spot. Who was I listening to? I think it was maybe Lieber, but he was saying, what if Everson Griffin comes back in like the B-Rob stand-up third down role? How terrifying would that be?
That'd be crazy. Lining up inside. Ooh,
Yeah, dude. Oh God, it would be so fun. And also with these like Weatherly and these guys, they're like dropping into coverage and like doing things like that. So this defense, I don't know, it's going to get crazy in a minute here with Griffin coming back whenever he comes back. Because you got to think he's going to be like a man possessed. He's going to like bleep stuff up.
oh yeah.
Oof. Also, speaking of injuries yet again, Dalvin Cook. I don't know if he's going to be back. Do you think this team needs him to come back, or are they in a position where they can just let him heal it up, rest it up, get 100% healthy, and we're good to go with Latavius? Where are you at on the running game?
I think you let it fully here. Latavius is doing just fine.
Yeah, man. And granted, the two teams that he's looked good against have been the Arizona, who's awful in rush defense, and the Jets weren't. They're in the middle of the road. They're like 18, 19, something like that in their rush defense. So I don't know, but Latavius looks good to me too, man. I'd keep him in there, even if Dalvin Cook could come back. I still think you give the majority of the carries to Latavius Murray, wouldn't you?
Agreed.
Yeah, there's one more Vikings thing I wanted to get to. I can't remember what it was. Peterson trade, Thielen. Maybe that was it. Do you have anything that stuck out to you about the Vikings game? Was there anything you wanted to discuss? Anything that weirded you out?
No, not really. Kicker had a great game, though.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Real quick. Oakland just signed Daniel Carlson.
I saw that.
Former
Good
Vikings
luck.
kicker. So what? Oakland is just like the most perplexing. John Gruden, what are you doing? Trade Khalil Mack, trade Amari Cooper, sign the worst kicker ever in the history of mankind. Get rid of Sebastian Janikowski. Get rid of your incredible, who was that, King punter. It was like one of the best punters.
He had a bad attitude, though.
Evidently. But, I mean, what are you going to do with – you can't take draft picks with you when you die, Mike. What are they going to do in Oakland? All they have is they're not going to have any players. They're just going to have first-round picks. They're going to have 26 first-round picks next year.
Sounds good to me.
Are they in Vegas next year, or are they still? Is that still up in the air?
I want to say the year after.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
So maybe that's it's like you're doing a full brand rebuild. So you get to, but it's the Raiders. You're not going to change your name. So you go to Las Vegas and you just are the bad Las Vegas Raiders for 2 years before you figure it out. Or I just am not seeing a plan here from John Gruden. Am I missing something? Are you seeing that? Where are you at with how ridiculous this has gotten? Or do you think that they are just fleecing everybody? Because I've heard people say that about the Amari Cooper trade was he's not been great, and they got a first round pick for him.
Yeah, that was a fleecing. Cooper's not good.
I could hear that, yeah, or hasn't been good. I don't think you can argue with that from a statistic standpoint. He's not been good over the last couple of years, and they got a first round pick, and they got how many first round picks for Khalil Mack? 3.
2.
I mean, that's a lot. If you're going to rebuild a franchise, I guess that's the way to do it. Those are all for the next year, right?
Yeah, the Cowboys pick is going to be, 14, 15, 16?
I don't know, though, because that division sucks so bad. And, nobody wants to win it. They're all 500. They're all 3-3. Or no, now it would be 4-3 or whatever. They are banging field goals off of uprights to try and lose these games. So it's very possible that Dallas now with Cooper could win enough games to win that division, because that's going to be an 8-8 division winner.
9-7 at best.
Yeah. So I mean, it is possible that they could win, but yeah, you'd think that. Who are they going to beat in the playoffs? If you say we can almost guarantee the Rams are going to be in there. Hopefully the Vikings are going to be in there. Who else are they? I mean, who else makes it, and who else is going to, who else beats them? Because I don't know if the Eagles are going to make it, because they ain't looking so hot lately.
Yeah, the Eagles will still win that division, though.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. They look ugly, and I feel like they are shocked that teams are not surprised that they're good anymore. It's maybe
they should run the Philly special every day.
For real. Maybe get those dog masks out again. Maybe that was part of the magic. We're gonna get a ton of emails and stuff from Philly fans now. They seek
The
people out. It's
underdogs.
crazy. See, and that bothered me last year too because they were the number one seed. You weren't underdogs of anything at all. You were the number one seed and you won a Super Bowl, and they're still trying to pull.
No, they were underdogs. I don't think they were favored in a playoff game.
Man, number one seed though. Give me a break.
With Nick Foles.
Underdog my hind end. Garbage. That's malarkey. Yeah, man. I don't
Philly
know about.
Sucks.
Yeah, I don't know about the Eagles. But see here, you're right about that division though. Is there who's gonna take it? They all are meh. So you got to think Philly is gonna take it, right? Eventually, the good Philly will show up, and they'll win enough games to win that division. Maybe Dallas gets their stuff together and wins. I don't know. But they look pretty good against Jacksonville. But now all of a sudden, Jacksonville looks like garbage. So I don't know.
They're not making the playoffs.
Jacksonville, no way. They're fighting.
No.
Did you hear the media were let into their locker room after the game, and somebody had to like real quick close the door as they were walking in, like kick them out because there was like a fight breaking out between Jaguars players, and they didn't want the like media in there for it.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they're not having any fun in Jacksonville right now. And then on top of that, you got Blake Bortles, who they pulled him and have literally nobody behind him at all. So he's going to have to start again, and this team's going to, they're going to implode. It's going to be
awesome.
Super awesome to watch. Okay, let's move on to our brand spanking news segment. It's going to be the best segment that we do. It is called Who Do You Boo? I'm very excited about it. Jeez Louise, Mike, you okay?
I don't know what that was. Oh, my phone fell off the table.
Oh, it sounded like a bell was rung. Oh yeah, sorry, the dinner bell fell off it dropped onto my computer. Okay, who should you boo? Who do you boo? Number 1, Vrabel or the offensive line. If you don't know the story, the Titans playing San Diego, they are down 1 point with how much time left? It was under a minute left, was it not? 30 seconds. Down 1. Vrabel decides to go for the win, go for 2. They do not get the first attempt, but there's a defensive penalty. He goes for 2 again. On the second attempt, the ball is tipped, intercepted. Who should you boo, Mike? Vrabel or the offensive line for not being able to protect for long enough? Or, I shouldn't say the offensive line, but maybe the Titans offense in general for not executing a 2-point conversion when you had 2 tries on it. Who do you boo?
I boo Vrabel, but with an asterisk.
What's that? What's the asterisk?
I don't mind going for 2. The play call was ridiculous. You should have ran the ball. You're on the 1. You don't run a slant. It's just dumb.
I just don't know how you can, in the NFL, with the record that they have, I don't know how you do anything besides kick the extra point, tie the game, and go to overtime. It's bonkers to me. Like, I understand you want to be aggressive. You want to, I don't know, whatever. Maybe it's a turning point in the season. Maybe you saw it that way. But, that
was their best chance to win. Go for 2.
No way, man. Because
they
were just running all over the field on the Chargers defense had been out there.
They were in their prevent crap defense. That's the only reason they made it down the field. That prevent defense is so freaking stupid.
I was just going to say, let's side note real quick. It is amazing to me. NFL teams can go entire halves without giving up anything. And then in the last 2 minutes of those halves, go to the prevent defense, give up a ton of yards, and let the other team score. I mean, it's...
What's harder to do? Leave the middle of the field wide open and get 4 20 yards in a row, or Play a man-to-man like you have been the whole game and try to beat you deep. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Prevent defense.
it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I understand not wanting to get beat, and the idea, I'm sure as a head coach or a coordinator, it's so difficult to not go into that, like, please don't screw it up mode. But it just boggles my mind that you wouldn't continue to do the thing that has allowed you to be successful the entire game. It confuses me. So yeah, I'm totally with you there. I boo Vrabel, and I don't like the call at all. I think it was just the whole thing was stupid in my opinion. Okay, number 2 on who should you boo: the Dallas kicker or the Dallas long snapper. If you don't know this one, the long snapper was flagged for like essentially a false start, moving the ball. If you watch the replay, it's very apparent that he did nothing different or abrupt, or he was not trying to trick anybody into jumping off sides. They just jumped off sides. But as a result, the, I believe, 47-yard kick turned into a 50-whatever yard kick, and Dallas kicker boots it, hits the upright, misses, Washington wins. So, Mike, who do you boo? The kicker or the long snapper? Third option, the ref.
Oh, go ahead.
Third option is the ref.
Long snapper. The kick would have been good from 47.
It's true, but he didn't do anything wrong, long snapper.
Maybe he should have been called on it before. Maybe it's been wrong the whole time.
I boo in this. I feel bad because I didn't give you this as an option, but I boo the refs. It's a terrible call. They freaked out. The Washington defense jumped. But, you got to boo the kicker a little bit there because you got to make that kick, bro. 52, no. You're an NFL kicker.
52
off
yarders
the uprights.
are like 60%. Get out of here.
Boo. These guys are making 60-yard field goals these days. Everybody's making 60-yard field goals. You're either
Did that kicker make a 60-yard field goal?
You're either missing extra points or making 60-yarders. There's no in between in this league, Mike.
You got a kicker problem.
I do have a kicker problem. I would not disagree with that. Number 3, who should you boo? Dallas Cowboys or John Gruden? This, of course, in reference to the Amara. I guess you kind of already gave your answer on this already, but who do you think won? Yeah. But who do you boo for this trade? Do you boo Oakland and John Gruden for getting rid of Cooper, or do you boo Dallas Cowboys for giving up a first-round pick to get him?
Boo the Cowboys. You probably could have got him for a second. It's terrible.
The first-round pick hurts because he was a first-round pick. For the first couple of years, he looked pretty good, like he maybe was worth that. I have a tough time believing that he is going to be a first-round pick. This just screams, what was that wide receiver's name? Roy Williams 2.0. Where the Cowboys are like, yeah, we want that guy. Or was it Roy Williams? What was his name? He was in Detroit for a little while, wide receiver. Dallas traded for him, and he was never that great in Dallas. And they gave up a ton for him.
Oh, it was Joey Galloway?
No. That's another great example. Actually, now that we're talking about this, Dallas has done this a bunch. Joey Galloway is another one. Did they sign T.O. as a free agent? Yeah, they couldn't have traded for him. Yeah. But yeah, I think it was Roy Williams, because when there are like 8 guys named Roy Williams, a bunch of safeties, and then this one wide receiver. Maybe did he play in Texas? I can't remember. This was years ago. But anyways, who do you boo? Cowboys, Gruden, and Oakland. It's got to be the Cowboys, right? Got to be. First round pick is way too much. And that's the other thing, Mike. This reeks of desperate from the Cowboys. This is the Cowboys deciding that they're not going to be able to get where they want, even in this bad division with the guys that they have. Do you believe in Dak Prescott for the long term?
No.
I don't know if I do either. He looked so good that first year, but I think that was such a product of how good his offensive line was.
And the running game got like 1,800 yards.
I mean, that helps for sure. Yeah. And seeing that game manager stuff, man, this the longer you watch with this rookie pay wage scale, what have you, these teams, if you can build a really good team, plug a decent young quarterback in for cheap, spend your money on everything else, you can really have a decent Super Bowl-ish window for a few years. But already the Cowboys,
the Rams,
yeah, and already the Cowboys are
AKA
kind of
the
past
Eagles.
it. Yeah, Eagles are another great example. But all those teams, like Seattle is another one that did it. As soon as you got to start paying that quarterback, and the other money dries up, dynasty over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, a first round pick for him was just that's too rich for my blood. I just don't think he's worth that. Okay, next up in the who should we boo, Eli Manning or Pat Shurmur?
Eli.
Yeah, so the Giants are pretty much train wreck, dumpster fire. Eli Manning does not look good. Odell Beckham seems to be pissed all the time. He played pretty well last night, but they lost again. Do you think Pat Shurmur survives the rest of the season? I also boo Eli. I think they have to trade him. I know they're not going to. I know they're not going to probably bench him either, but I think they need to get rid of him and move on to be able to do what they want to do. But like Pat Shurmur, man, do you think he survives this year? Like this is bad.
Yeah, come on.
Bad. I mean, I agree with you, but I am also, not in New York and not part of the Giants franchise, and I think there's some like some embarrassment happening from them where it's starting to turn into a little bit sideshowy where it's not even really about the football anymore. It's kind of about the like soap opera drama. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel bad because I think Pat Shurmur is really good, and he's like freaking out in these like post game news conferences, and like Eli Manning looks like a statue.
Going for 2. You remember? Did you watch that?
Yes, I did. That's another great. Yeah.
He must not have known the score.
Do you think that was the case?
I don't know. It
or
doesn't make
thinking
sense.
that. Yeah, I just don't. That's another one that I don't know why you would. To me, it's deciding that the game is over before you have to. Does that make sense? Where it's like missing that 2-point conversion means the game's over.
Means it forces you to have to get a conversion now to tie the game.
That's
why it didn't make any sense.
Yeah. Kick the field goal or extra point, excuse me. Move on with your life. What is with these guys doing all these like I know that there's a movement for NFL coaches now to like be more aggressive. Dude in Houston was going for it on fourth down quite a bit. Tomlin has been known to do the 2-point conversion. Peterson also, but like, guys, pump the brakes. Like it's getting crazy now, and you're making bad decisions. And decisions like this, like Pat Shurmur, that to me that was why I brought the like Eli Manning / Shurmur boo question, because like how do you like boo Pat Shurmur, for that play? And then Eli Manning also, he misses open is maybe a little bit loose on the terminology there because he wasn't like wide open Odell on fourth down. But you're Eli Manning, that's your best wide receiver. You got to see him. That's a touchdown, right? Did you see that?
Yeah, he rolled right towards him. If you're even, you're open. He should have thrown that ball.
So yeah, I don't know.
Sure.
They have to get rid of him, but I know they're not going to. Okay, last.
No, keep Eli in there. Go 1-15, and then draft your quarterback next year.
That's actually not that bad of an idea. But then you got to put up with how many more games of this like garbage. What are they 1-4? What is their record now?
1-6.
Oh, that's right, because there's been that many weeks. Makes sense. Last one. On the who should you boo, we're going to take a little bit of a turn and get out of the NFL, get into the NBA. Who do you boo, Mike? Jimmy Buckets or Tom Thibodeau?
Both. All of the above.
Yes,
They're
and
both
Glenn Taylor. And Glenn Taylor. Get him out of here. So I know we talked about it a little bit last time, but like, what do you do in the Jimmy Butler situation now? Now he's played a little bit. He needs rest, which is hilarious because he wasn't there. to get his legs ready or whatever. That drives me nuts. But what do you do now, today, if you are the GM of that team? Do you trade him still? Do you keep him around?
Yeah, no, I don't want him around. Just send him home.
That's what I'm the same way. Send him home, trade him, get him out of there. But then
Actually,
there's
I
no
got one
chance
better.
you make the playoffs.
Put him in the D League.
Yes, put him in the D League. Oh my God.
Can't do that. Can't, because
Is
any
that
team can pluck them off your roster if they put them on their starting.
Oh God. Yeah, definitely don't do that. If you can, oh God, what a Timberwolves move that would be.
Yeah,
That would be like,
right?
we're punishing him by sending him to the D League, and like Memphis picks him up on waivers because he was in the D League.
No, but I'd send him home.
Oh my God. Yeah, I don't
even have a.
To me, it's shocking that he was ever there, because that would have been the first thing I would have told him when he requested a trade was, cool, don't show up here. We don't want that attention. We don't want any of that. Oh, good golly. Well, let's talk.
Did I mention he's an ass clown?
Who's that? Jimmy Butler?
Did I mention that?
Yeah, I mean, you've kind of mentioned. You mentioned that that's kind of your opinion. Let's talk a little bit about. Let's do a little rundown of NFL. Other scores, other teams, blah 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 blah. I want to talk a little bit about Kansas City. They beat up on, who did they play?
Cincinnati.
They look really good. That Mahomes kid is something else. But what are you seeing from that team? How deep do you think that team can go? Because Mahomes is still young, and they have question marks all over. Every team does. But how far do you think Kansas City can go this season?
For sure.
Say it all the way. You think they can get to the Super Bowl?
Oh yeah, that kid's good.
Dude, that kid is so good, and that offense just looks unstoppable. Like unstoppable. They have so many weapons, and I'm loving that the two, like the Rams are incredible and the Chiefs are incredible, and both of them do not have the tall, big, powerful wide receivers. They have these little dudes who are fast and quick and shifty and can,
Yep.
I really like that that's the direction that offenses are going. I think that's why college football is so much fun to watch, is because they don't exclude guys that don't fit their mold as far as a size is concerned. If there's enough talent there, they'll play it. And it looks like the NFL is starting to go that way, and that pumps me up. Speaking of the Rams, they destroy the 49ers. How bad are the 49ers, by the way?
They lost everybody, though.
I know. And Jimmy G, do you think... Is that the same knee that he... Did he hurt his knee last? When was Jacoby Brissett playing that one year? That wasn't a long-term injury, or was it?
No. He could have came back, but Brady came off suspension. I think he hurt his shoulder.
Was it his shoulder? Okay, yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, because I remember it not. Yeah, it was like every week they were getting a new quarterback there. But what else happened in the NFL here? We got Saints-Ravens. So, let's talk about this for a little bit. So, is it Tucker in Baltimore? Had not ever missed an extra point in his NFL career. It was like 221 for 221, and he misses an extra point with under 30 seconds left, and his team loses. The beneficiaries of this game, of course, the Saints and Drew Brees.
Luckiest team in football.
I'm starting to wonder if that is the case. It's hard for us to say that because the Minneapolis Miracle was just last year, and that was some of the luckiest stuff you'll ever see, but I think you're right. I think that New Orleans has benefited this season, especially from a lot of lucky breaks. And I understand there are sometimes seasons you get lucky breaks and whatever, but I feel like the Saints aren't as good as their record indicates. Would you agree?
Well, they definitely should have lost that Cleveland game. Their Cleveland kicker missed 3 kicks.
Yes.
And at least the Baltimore game would have gone in overtime, so who knows?
Yeah, man, that's what I'm saying. And you see that full circle, water cooler full circle. That's what I'm talking about with the the difference between being a good team like the Saints and a really bad team like the Browns is, or really bad, but there's not a lot of difference. Those are really close games, really tight games that the Browns have lost, and their record looks like garbage. And the same scenarios with New Orleans, and they are the sexy NFC pick. It's important to have good kickers, is my point.
Yes.
I guess. So the Texans beat the Jaguars by a lot, 20-7. Jaguars are donezo this year, right?
Yep.
What else do we have? Titans, Chargers. We just talked about that a little bit. Broncos, Cardinals. Wow, did the Broncos beat the Cardinals by a lot? Cardinals are so bad.
There was 2 defensive touchdowns in that game too.
Jeez Louise. What else? Lions beat the Dolphins. Patriots beat the Bears. Oh, let's talk a little bit about the Bears because they hung with New England and were a yard short on their Hail Mary play. Where are you at on Trubisky at this point? I mean, I haven't watched a lot of his games, so I don't have a great opinion on him, but I still am not a believer in dude. Where are you at?
Watch his games.
You think he's that good?
He's got a cannon. He can run. Yeah, he's going to be good.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. I just don't see it. You're not wrong. He does have a cannon. He can run, but I think he gets a little bit of the happy feet in the pocket, and kind of like anytime you have guys, that's like Christian Ponder style, where it's like happy feet, happy feet, happy feet, doesn't set his feet to throw, terrible sailing throw that gets intercepted.
He hasn't done that too much, though.
No, Trubisky hasn't. And I think that was a bad comparison because I'm not trying to say that Trubisky is going to be Ponder because he's going to be better than that. But I feel like there are a lot of things that defenses can exploit on Trubisky. And he's still young, so maybe he'll get better. I don't know.
Second year, I believe.
Yeah. But yeah, they hung with the Patriots. Where are you at with the Patriots right now? You think, I mean, they're the Patriots, so they'll figure it out and they'll win their garbage division again and be in the playoffs with a beautiful record again. But I'm not so sure that they are going to win a Super Bowl. Where are you at?
They're going to lose to Kansas City in the AFC Championship game.
Wow. Hot take from Mike.
In Kansas City.
Hang on. Let me just 1 second. I got to get my sounder ready. Phone is loading. Oh, come on, you piece of garbage. Okay, say, what did you just say, Mike? Can you repeat what you just said?
They're going to lose to the in the AFC Championship game.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it for that dead air to get the Mike the Oracle sounder in there. So okay, it sounded a lot better in my head. Maybe we won't do that as much as we used to. Real good stuff. What else happened? The Bills are terrible. The Colts scored 37 points. Andrew Luck had like 4 touchdowns, but no yards whatsoever. Do you believe in Andrew Luck, or do you think that the Colts are still have to prove, what they're doing?
No, I think Andrew Luck's good. He's not going to be great.
Yeah, do you think Andrew Luck is like a Aaron Rodgers type quarterback where he can just like will his team to the playoffs?
No.
I don't think so either. And I feel like people put him in that category, and it kind of bothers me because I really like Andrew Luck. I really like watching him play football, but I don't think he's on that like Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers level. Would you agree with that?
No.
Which is too bad because in his first couple of years, I thought for sure that we were just going to get to watch this like genius at work, and I don't think that's the case anymore.
You want to talk about happy feet?
Yeah, that dude. But see, here's the thing: he has happy feet, but whenever he whenever he decides to throw the ball, his feet get set perfectly.
True.
And I think he dances so that he can keep his feet light and then plow, set his feet and go. Because some guys can do that. Peyton Manning was another one who did that a ton. Happy feet,
mm-hmm.
bam. But his feet were always right. It's like Like Steph Curry hitting a jump shot. It's like everything that happens before doesn't matter as long as he goes up from the same base and his shooting motion is the same, and he always does that the same. That was the way Peyton Manning was. It didn't matter what his feet were doing beforehand because every time the ball was coming out of his hand, it was perfect. Okay, that'll do it for the NFL rundown. Let's do a real quick Saints preview. I mean, we kind of did it a little bit. We're running out of time. We got about 5 minutes left here, but Saints game coming up, Sunday Night Football in Minneapolis. What do you expect from the Vikings?
If Rhodes and Barr play, we win a close one. If they don't, it could get ugly.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me if they really got their butts beat. I don't want that to happen. But, man, I was flying high before that Buffalo game. But after that Buffalo game, I know that they are capable of just totally laying an egg. And if they do that against Drew Brees, he might score 100 points. He might throw 8 touchdowns if they do that.
I don't think it's that bad. But
if they do the Bills. Oh, man. I, honest to God, I picked on the on Bleeding Purple yesterday. I picked the Saints in this game. And I kind of feel guilty. But it's just really hard for me to imagine, even if Rhodes plays, even if Barr plays, it's hard for me to imagine them playing well enough to prevent Drew Brees from just winning the game. Like he does at the second half of the game, the playoff game, where he just decided he was going to come back.
He is historically not been as good on the road, though.
That's true.
Which you can say probably about most quarterbacks. But
I was just going to say that.
His
which
drop
is probably for everybody.
Has gotten a little better, but it's a pretty big drop off.
Yeah. He's good. And here's the other thing too with Drew Brees is that I wonder if we are, I should speak for myself. I wonder if I am more afraid of Drew Brees this year because of all of the accolades and all of the records that he's breaking. And it's like this, it's like the dude is just on like a lifetime achievement tour this season. So like maybe the coverage is making me more afraid of the Saints than I should be. But I don't know. He's really good. You got to be afraid.
So if we have a full, healthy team minus Mike Hughes, you still think we lose?
No, I think it's going to be close. I think here's the thing is full healthy. I think if everybody's playing, I don't think they're going to be fully healthy. I think everybody will be playing, but I don't think Rhodes will be in top shape. And I don't think Barr will be in top shape. So yeah, I guess I do think they will lose, even if Rhodes plays, even if Barr plays, even if everybody is back. I will say this though: if all those guys play and Linval Joseph plays,
and Everson,
and Everson, that might change a little bit. If all those guys are back, then maybe I lean
Everson
a little bit more.
Coming back could light a fire under this team.
100%. It could totally change the. I don't want to say change the course of the season, but it could totally change the vibe around the team right now. Because say what you will about how well they've been playing in the games they've been winning, and they have, and they've looked pretty good doing it. But there's not that scary dominant thing that was kind of happening last year for a stretch. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So I don't know. Maybe Everson Griffin coming back will help it, but I don't know. Do you got a score prediction?
Yeah, sure. 24-21 Vikings.
I think I went 28. It was like 27-28 Saints. Yeah, but I'll switch that, and I'll go 28-21 Vikings.
Way to come back on board.
Thanks, bud. You're convincing that, did it? All right, buddy. I got the theme music is faded in, bro. We're gonna put a fork in this one.
Sounds
wonderful
good.
episode. I don't think we had any real issues. So
My phone fell on the floor.
oh, that's right. The bell sounded up.
Terrible.
Well, hey, I
It's
mean,
terrible.
every week we're getting better.
I am.
Yeah,
don't
you
know
are.
about
I'm kind of spinning my wheels. You're right. All right, bud. We will. I'll talk to you next week. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow, but we'll talk to you on the radio next week.
See ya.
Peace.